Then, strategic plan. When you draw a strategic plan, you must have strategic indicators, which is your vision, your mission, and your context. Your vision, they say it must be futuristic. That means you look at what your college wants to achieve in the next 5 years. And for now, what I know is that our college, what it wants to achieve in the next 5 years is the implementation of occupational programs. So that became my main focus. Hence, if you look at the vision, it says to be a college of excellence to deliver. What is happening here? My presentation is about a strategic plan. I'm not supposed to mention the name of the TVET college that I'm in, okay? Even though I might take more information from the TVET college because we already have a strategic plan. But now, I'm going to present it. The strategic plan, as you can see on the first slide, the action plan there. You break down the action plan there to say what is the item, what is the start date, what is the implementation date, and the people who are going to be responsible. So that is the action plan there. It talks about the program identification, which we have done through e-academic Indaba, and also some further consultations, doing our own research. Then it talks of a consultation with staff, labor, unions, students on campus. We've done that to academic Indaba. I think everybody was there. And it made life much more easier. It was a learning curve for some of us for that matter. Then accreditation, the registration of the programs with TVET, conduct of the audit of what is available and what we need to procure. And then thereafter the practical infrastructure readiness to say, our facilities are ready for us to be able to offer these programs. And then the sourcing of the workplaces, because when it comes to occupational programs, you can't do without the workplace. We need to have our students be placed in the workplace for them to do the external practical, not the internal one. Then it goes on the action plan here to get TV talks about the execution part, understand? The execution part talks about the upskilling of lecturers, learning material, development and procurement, partnerships with workplace providers, accreditation of workstations, workshops, teaching and learning, and then thereafter the monitoring and support. That's what, and the people there who are responsible, and the dates that are given there. There were dates for August 2025, you understand, and most of what is here, it has been done, but it still needs to continue to overlap to 2026. So how do I switch back to when it comes to who's funding the college? Okay, we've got the mandatory funding. The mandatory funding, that's the one that I was talking of to say that comes from the department. But your question is right. You are saying that means if that funding can be withdrawn, that means the college will not have a financial life. And then what are the alternatives, if I heard you correctly, to say what are the alternatives that the college must look for them to be able to sustain itself? And you are correct. The college was continuing funding that they have to go and source from the different areas that I've mentioned. The CITAS, the industry, and also through fundraising. Okay, fundraising that comes from the alumni and other business. But now the big question is to say, what about us running the college like you are running a business? It has happened in other colleges. Not in Cape Town, they are doing that, you understand? In Limpopo, I think it's Bembe. Yes, they are also doing that. What they do, they utilize their land and they utilize their resources, including their assets, understand, to generate money. That means if we will build more, we can have more buildings that can be used for student residence. But at the end of the year, they can also be used as accommodation. There are other institutions that are doing that. I think universities, they do that, understand? Then they generate money. If we've got land that we can use for farming, and we've got a farmer who's got an interest, understand? Then he must be able to rent that land till such time that we can be able, we have a need to utilize the land to pursue our programs. Understand? So I'm in agreement with what you're saying, to say we must have alternative funding, you understand? And then your last question was?
Rational, and then you said
poverty. In reduction of poverty, because it's going to be it's the indirect benefit of uplifting an economy. When you uplift an economy, you give the people in the communities the necessary skills, and then thereafter you also create opportunities for them. And then these people start to work for themselves, they become entrepreneurs, or they get employment from industry. Then in a way they are going to go back and plow back in their communities, understand? And then that's a way, in a way, indirectly eradicating the poverty. I don't know if I've answered you. Okay.
Thanks, first of all, let me say wow to the presentation. It seems as if you did your work thorough. That means you've searched and you've combined based on the factors that must be considered when consolidating the strategic plan of your college. Mine is to just check on two topics. The one is on funding in relation with the sustainability of your institution. To me, it seems as if your college cannot be sustainable if maybe the grant from those institutions that were mentioned can withdraw the funding level. And yet, I'm not sure whether your college doesn't have assets that they can maybe make use of it so that they can maybe get some, they can derive the income. Like for instance, some colleges, they do have plenty of land that they can use to do farming, which can be from substantial farming to commercial farming, because maybe some of the offerings will be from the agricultural sector. And then number two, these days, most of the institutions, they make use of the land to build some accommodation, whether it's for rental for the students, as well as they can rent out some properties because they have the advantage of the land, so that your institution can be sustainable. Number two, it was on a tactical indicator two under irrational. There was a point which says a reduction or reduce poverty, and I asked myself, how are you going to reduce poverty as the college? Is it direct or indirect? If it's direct or indirect, how?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mazomba, and thank you for the well-crafted presentation. I think mine is similar to the previous speaker. Under your strategic priorities, the fifth one was the financial stability for all resources, and then under your goals, you mentioned introduction of 8 occupational educational programs for simulations and also conversion of textbooks to e-books. And then later on, under your operational indicator number 3, you also mentioned the sustainability drivers. Then my question is, having a time period of 2 years under your goals, how would you ensure that the drivers of finances are on board?